So, welcome back, my dear students. Welcome back, everyone, to the lecture 3 in ethics, the business ethics. I'm your teacher, Dr. Osama Kashfa, and this is our third lecture in the business ethics today. Shall complete resume what we've been working on, and now we will say, what do we mean by the word code of conduct? Code of ethics. We'll talk about the code of ethics and the code of conduct. It's a set of strict guidelines, for maintaining ethics in the workplace. By other meaning, I just want to say that this should be written. The rules should be written here. The ethics which we learn in our back homes, we don't write it. But ethics in business environment, in the work, it must be written. It must be written. Okay. Legal responsibilities. Businesses that regulate themselves are able to operate more freely. That's true. Whenever regulations and the ethics always hesitate the life, it makes the life easy and easier. So good ethics means a good business. And this is another point. A good ethics means directly this is a good business. Unethical business practices can affect your business indirectly. So once if you are doing a bad ethic business, as example, a bad ethical business, as example, you don't have a fair treatment or equal treatment between all the workers. You favor someone against other. These other, their morale will go down. Their productivity will be lower, and they won't be feeling like they want to work anymore. So their productivity will go lower. This is the point why we say a fair treatment, a good ethical standards will increase the productivity. Unethical, okay, can affect your business indirectly. This unethical business practices can affect your business indirectly. That's true. The amount you make in profits from one unhappy customer can translate into a more lost because of missed repeat business. Yeah. So one unhappy customer because of unethical practices you did will go on. He will never show up back. He will never show up back. He will never, because once he didn't feel satisfied from your product, as example, if I am working like and I cheated the customer, why he will come to me back? He will never come back. So, but a good standards of ethics means that you are having a good business that will bring the customer back. Customer will repeat them. Ethics of a good business, treating employees unethically can also backfire. That's true. Mistreating employees leads to a high turnover rate. What is the turnover rate? The turnover rate is the number of workers who leave the work because they found negative points at the work. As example, low pay, their morale is down, they find unfair treatment, they found unequal pay, they were working under very severe stress. All these reasons let them leave the work. The number of workers who leave the work in a particular range of time, we call it turnover rate. So if the turnover rate is 5 per year, means that there is 5 persons or 5 employees came to join the work, but they left the work before the year is ended. If we say the turnover rate is 10%, means out of 100 workers, 10 of them went out of the work, they left the work, they looked for a work in another place, and they quit from the work. This we call it turnover rate. The higher the turnover rate, the lower the efficiency of the company. And it showed that it has too much weak points as the turnover rate is high. That means more and more drawbacks in this company. That's why the people are leaving the work there and going looking for a work in another places. The turnover rate is having very bad consequences because it increases the cost of hiring and training new employees, because the people who will go, you want to replace them with another people that will cost you money and will cost you time. So it's better that the turnover rate will be in its lowest level or lowest level. Okay. Important ethical questions, we're still working on it. When considering a questionable course of action, you have to ask yourself these important questions. See, like when we talk about what to do or what not to do, is talking about the ethics again. So it's like a question like this is about concerning the ethics. Is it against the law? Does it violate company or professional policies? What if everyone did this? How would I feel if someone did this to me? Like we used to say always, the moral and the ethic is to treat the people the way you want the people treat you. So it's like a double coincidence. As I'm sacrificing long-term benefits for short-term gains, am I sacrificing long-term benefits for short-term gains? I'm looking under my feet. I'm just sacrificing with a good future or long time for just a profits, very quick profits, or the opposite. What about the ethical dilemma? And we will go now to see what is the meaning of the ethical dilemma, because the ethical dilemma is very important. And we'll see a video now for the ethical dilemma and see what do mean by the ethical dilemma. Okay. Here we go. Ethical dilemma meaning. And it's very important to talk about the ethical dilemma today, actually, and to know the meaning of it. It's called ethical paradox or moral dilemmas or situation in which an agent stands under two conflicting moral requirements, none of which overrides the other. A closely related definition is characterized ethical dilemma as situation in which every available choice is wrong. Okay, we'll see also a video talking about the ethical dilemma that will make it closer to our brains more and more. Okay, check out this. Let's see this one.
dilemma is a conflict between alternatives where, no matter what choice a person makes, some ethical principle will be compromised. Choosing between two of your favorite shirts, deciding what to have for dinner, picking a Netflix show, life is full of decisions. However, these small choices are quite different than ethical decisions, which involve analyzing different options, eliminating those with an unethical result, and choosing the best ethical alternative. For those who are unfamiliar, ethics are standards of right and wrong that act as a guide for what humans should do. Ethics outline the code of behavior for individuals and societal groups, and are typically framed as virtues, duties, or socially acceptable actions. However, ethics are also guided by laws, cultural norms, policies, personal experience, philosophical schools of thought, and religious traditions. So, doing the right thing is a combination of personal, professional, and societal ethics. Most of us are taught right from wrong at a very early age, but there are also situations where you find yourself caught between two right decisions and are forced to make a choice between them. Such an ethical dilemma consists of a situation where a person should do both things being presented, yet the two things stand in conflict, for whatever reason, and only one can be performed. Not choosing one right thing does allow the person to choose the other right thing, but this simultaneously condemns him to an ethical failure. No matter what, he will do something wrong. Some examples of ethical dilemmas include truth versus loyalty, individual versus community, short-term versus long-term, and justice versus mercy. In many scenarios, these ideals are both right, but only one can be chosen, a decision that is often based on our individual values and current contexts. For those who may still be unclear about ethical dilemmas, perhaps an example will help. Imagine that your friend is heading out for a date and asks if you like her dress. Even though you personally don't find the dress very attractive, do you tell her the truth or keep quiet? This is an example of truth versus loyalty. On one side is loyalty to your friend as a supportive roommate, while the other side is the truthful answer to her question. While such situations can be perplexing, there are various approaches to thinking about ethical decision-making. The ends-based approach means choosing what does the greatest good for the greatest number. The rules-based approach is straightforward. Stick to the rules and don't worry about the result. The care-based approach is basically do unto others as you would have them do unto you. When faced with an ethical dilemma, be sure to consider all possible options. We often operate in a binary, and our minds will limit itself to two conflicting options, even if there are other choices on the proverbial table. Fortunately, there is a simple three-step process to resolving an ethical dilemma. Step 1. Analyze the consequences. Before making a choice, consider both the positive and negative consequences of each option, not only their quantity, but also their quality. For example, health is more important than a new TV, while betraying a friend is more harmful than an omission of truth. Step 2. Analyze the actions. Some actions are inherently good, such as keeping promises, while others are bad, such as theft. Even if good things come from bad actions, the action will never truly be right. Consider this possible conflict before making a hard ethical choice. Step 3. Make a decision. Analyzing the consequences and actions will act as a check on your behavior, making the most ethical choice quite clear in a given scenario. However, if you find yourself stuck, speak to others about the dilemma. Getting the opinion of other knowledgeable and ethical people usually helps. After making a decision, analyze the impacts of your choice. In this period of reflection, consider what you can do to prevent such a dilemma from happening again.
So this is the source here, translated by John, and it's a good video that shows us what is the meaning of the word ethical dilemma. So here are some steps if you find yourself in ethical dilemma, like between two positive objectives and you need to choose one of them, and you feel that both the objectives are conflicting with each other. Identify the ethical dilemma, discover the alternative actions, decide who might be affected, least the probable effect, of the alternatives, select the best alternate. I will say them again. So how to deal with the ethical dilemma? Identify the ethical dilemma, discover the alternative action, and decide who might be affected. List the probable effect of the alternatives. Select the best alternative. Those are the points of what you see, how to deal with the ethical dilemma. Shall go right now to this question, how to deal with the ethical dilemma. This will be video 3, how to deal with ethical dilemma. How to deal with the ethical dilemma. This will be our third question today on the for the video, third video. How to deal with the ethical dilemma? Here it is. The steps, like we said before: identify the ethical dilemma, discover the alternative actions, decide who might be affected, list the probable effect of the alternatives, select the best alternative. Now, I will just keep a few minutes here to answer this question before we move forward to the next question: how to deal with the ethical dilemma. How to deal with the ethical dilemma. Cool. Just we'll move ahead now into another part here after talking about the ethical dilemma. Important ethical question. I ask myself, does it violate the law or policies of the work? Yes, I will ask myself, if this is against the law or the work policies or the rules of the work, if it is against it, then it's unethical. If it is not against it, then what if everyone did this, but it's bad? Yes, it is unethical. No. Would this sacrifice long-term benefits for short-term gains? Yes, this is maybe unethical, but not quite sure. It may be unethical. No, then it's the final decision if that is ethical decision. So here, like we say, if it is all no, it's moving towards the ethical. But if it is yes, here you are preaching the law, here you think it's something bad, here you sacrifice with the short term, with the long term for sake of short term. I just want to like get some profits and go, and that's it. So in all these cases, it's unethical. But here, if you say no to all this, that means this decision will be purely 100% ethical decision. How does companies benefit of enforcing their own codes of ethics? Like we said before, a company which is applying the code of ethics is a successful company because the clients will come back and back and back. Why does it pay to treat customers ethically? What does it pay to treat customers ethically? Here, you make your profits when you pay attention to how to treat all the customers in an ethical manner, because customers will get back to you and they will be your own clients. What are some important ethical questions to ask? It's the same questions which we asked here before. Here it is. Those are the ethical questions which we have to ask. We'll come back now to another topic that is called social responsibility, and this will be on the next video, number 4. What do we mean by the social responsibility? Just to give you a meaning now before we leave, social responsibility is the duty to do what is best for the good of the society, not only the company, or not for the good of the company, but here it's for the good of the society. Because simply, I am a part of this society and I'm working for this society. I gave this society my profits. I took my profits from this society. So in return, I have to return back to this society a kind of obligations and commitments. Like as example, a clean environment. I have to contribute in a clean environment. I have to produce friendly, ozone friendly or environment friendly products, green products. I have to reduce the emission of carbon dioxide. I have to increase the employment rate and decrease the unemployment rate. These are, we call it the social responsibilities. I have to make donations for the society and because I made my profits from this society. So it's not a big deal that I return back a portion or a percentage of these profits to this society in a figure of a new equipment for a new hospital. So this is the meaning of the social responsibility. Shall leave you for the moment and see you in the next video. Take care of yourself and have all a very good night and stay blessed. Thank you so much.